My name is Morgan Braizie. I went to college at Lake Forest College. Lake Forest College is a pretty small liberal arts school. It's in a small suburb of Chicago. They started a whole new program in environmental studies, and they have a new guy. They have a couple. They started a whole new department, and the new department wanted some sort of project to do for the summer, right? And so, we'd heard a lot of other schools. The big thing recently is a lot of other schools that are taking the next big step. The green step is to try and have a garden on campus. And so that's what Lake Forest decided they were going to do. And they had a grant, the Mellon grant. I think it was from Bank of New York Mellon. And so that's what's funding the environmental studies program. And they decided to give us the money to start this big garden. And of course, to do this, the college needed some personnel. They needed a workforce, and they were going to hire students. And I was lucky enough to be the first student chosen to work for the garden. And later on, throughout about a 2-month period, 3 other students were eventually hired on. And so for the summer, I was hired on in March so we could start planning. And by the time the summer came around, by May, when school was letting out, there was 4 students, including myself. And we stayed there over the summer in the dormitory with, there's still some dormitories open for summer school. And, we stayed on campus and started a garden. It wasn't for credit. Like I said, it was run through the program coordinator for environmental studies, and I worked with the professors, with the coordinator. It was very hands-on, all the other students, but it wasn't for credits. It was a job. Before we even had a garden and everything was okay, they had me on there, and I was designing blueprints, schematics for the garden, doing all the geometry for it, and then picking out sites and ideal places and where we could do it, laying out the beds, just sort of envisioning what we could have, because before we could get the board to approve things, we had to show them, pictures or diagrams. This is what it's going to look like. This is why we want it here, etc. So that was the first thing I did. And then once we had an approved place, because I worked for about a month or two planning, I ordered a lot of seeds. I did probably a week's worth of work researching also, probably 50, 60 varieties of fruits and vegetables, researching what works well with what where you can grow certain things, climate zones, all different type of root varieties, acidities, pH levels, doing all this stuff. I researched it for a couple of months, figured out what we needed, ordered hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of seeds, so that we'd be ready. And then we would have liked to have had the seeds in the ground by April, but actually because of bureaucratic tape and getting okays and money and budget and all this stuff, and waiting for approval, we got all the seeds and everything late. I was ready to go, but we're waiting for the okay. So we didn't get planning till about June. But once June started, once we started planning, the job was totally out of the office and in the garden. And every day, got out there and probably 6 hours a day every day, because I probably a 25-hour-a-week job. So 6-7 hours a day, get out there and just maintain the garden. And then at the end, it was always harvesting. At the beginning, it was planting. We didn't use any pesticides, herbicides. It was all organic. Only water and natural fertilizers. Like just compost, etc. But sometimes in the summer, when we had to harvest things, we would just sort of sell them, kind of like a lemonade stand. But what we would do is we would sell them on campus to students and faculty. And to be honest, they'd get a heck of a deal coming by and getting produce equally as good. Maybe if not even better, because harvest literally minutes before they get there, or hand harvested right there. They could hand pick things themselves, and they'd get it for a fraction of the price you'd get at a farmer's market, and we sell it to them. And then we tried to start selling it to Artemark so they could use it in our cafeteria. Not even selling it, but giving it. And there was a lot of problems just getting the approval to do that. And I believe we did get them to sell some of our, offer some of our stuff in the cafeteria on several occasions, which was awesome. But that's the plan, is to eventually have the cafeteria start using more of our food as well. We had 4 people working there full time. We put a lot into it. We all loved our jobs and just enjoyed being out there, getting nitty and gritty and working hard. And we had good results. Nothing more rewarding than growing your own food. and believe me, I'm serious. And everyone should know how to grow their own food. It's an important thing, and people have forgotten how to do that these days. So that's why universities should be making sure everyone knows how to do it. It's a life skill.